Now, I'm Tanvi Desai and feel privileged to welcome you all on behalf of Anand Institute of Information Science to this webinar on microservice architecture. I would like to over our Director of Anand Institute of Information Science, Dr. Chaya Patel, to present the welcome address and introduce our guest to us. Madam, over to you.
Thank you, Danvi. Uh, I again welcome all of you on behalf of Anand Institute of Information Science for this seminar on microservice architecture. We are happy to announce that we have as our speaker our alumni of year 2011-2014 with us, Neeraj Trivedi. Uh, and we have good response from the participants. We have received not many requests for registration of this event. Neeraj, I welcome you on behalf of Anand Institute of Information Science. It is your own institute, and we are happy again to see you. Let me introduce Neeraj. Neeraj is passionate software engineer, and he is not only workaholic, he also likes adventurous travel, and he is a blogger too. He is also very passionate about programming and next generation technologies that changes how billions of users connect, explore, and interact with information and one another person and various device communication. He is interested in increasing experience across new technologies as well as learning other best practices, developed methodologies within the industry. He started his job in 2014 and he served till 2016 with SFW India Private Limited, Baroda. He was placed there by the placement cell of Anand Institute of Information Science, and that time he was serving there as junior software engineer. Then he joined uh, as a software engineer at Collabora, again Baroda-based company, where he learned lot many technologies, and then he moved to uh, Australia in August 17. During August 17 to May 19, he worked as .NET developer at Tech System Sydney, and where he delivered services for Mastercard. You know, Mastercard is a huge company worldwide having customers, and system development is a critical task. But he loves challenges, so he joined and continued working with Texas. Presently, he is working as a software engineer with BizCover Sydney at Australia. He is a core developer. He uses .NET technology mainly with C Sharp and SQL Server. He had worked on microservice-based architecture, established web APIs, work on agile framework. So his variety of experience and constant learning will definitely inspire all of us to uplift our skills and certainly motivate our young minds. I welcome you, Neeraj, once again, and thanks for accepting our request to deliver a session. We hope we will certainly get support from you in future too. And I also welcome all the participants who have made this event successful. And I hope everybody will get good knowledge in 1 hour. This COVID era has permitted us, or say, has created a new opportunity to connect with each other via e-form. And I think it is a good opportunity. We'll definitely enjoy. Thank you all. Once again, I now hand over to Neeraj. Please, Neeraj.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. So I will start my session. So as you know that today we are going to discuss about the microservice architecture. So as madam gave a brief introduction of myself, so I will just let you know. Myself is Neeraj Trivedi. I'm a software engineer, and if you would like to connect with me, then you can use the LinkedIn or any social media link. So that's my short introduction, as madam already given the introduction, a brief introduction of myself. So I will start the session. So before going to start a session, I would also like to thanks to the Anand Institute of Information Science who gave me this opportunity to present the session on microservice architecture. And this is my first webinar session, so I'm also a bit worried and also excited about it. So hope you enjoy and hope you can take it out something from this session. So one more thing that I would like to know you, I want this session to be more interactive. Otherwise, what happened? I will feel like I'm talking to myself only. So let's start with the introduction first. So you can write it down the name of the course, which course are you means right now pursuing, like BCA, MCA, or BSCIT, and just in which semester are you in. So you can use the chat box. Just type your name of the course, like BCA, MCA, or which session means. Like for example, I'm typing a BCA, and I'm in second semester. So you can write it down like this. Yeah. So meanwhile, we can wait for other to join while we are introducing ourselves. I can see that there are 39 participants. So that's a good thing. Also, I would like to know you that I completed my Bachelor of Computer Application from Baroda and MCA from means Master of Computer Application from the Anand Institute of Information Science. Uh, yes. So I can see the most of the guys are from the BCA and MCA, and they are from the second, fourth, sixth semester. So that's a good thing. So most probably this session will going to help a sixth semester student because they are going to means do their project, final year projects and all. Yeah, I'm just turning off my video to get more better connectivity. So yeah, thank you so much for your response. Uh, so let's start a microservice architecture. So does anyone know about the microservice architecture, or does anyone have an idea about the microservice architecture? If you have any idea, then you just press Y or N into chat box. If you have means idea about the microservice architecture, what is, and if you have ever heard about that microservice architecture, then you can type Y. And if you haven't any idea of the microservice architecture, then you can press N. Okay, so I'm getting a response. That's a good thing. Uh, so this session will going to help you who doesn't know about it. You definitely will going to get a little bit knowledge around it, what it is, and how it's work. So moving to the next slide, uh, let me give you the outline of our session. So I'm here to present the microservice as a big picture, explain you what it is, what it does, and more important, to help you to understand if the microservice is a good for your next project. So this session is not a technical. In fact, we are not going to write it down any code. So this is an introductory section which can help a business like a business analyst, uh, then technical guy like our tech lead or solution architect who design the system, and a developer, so who writes the code in a Java, Ruby, .NET, or Node.js, or any language that that support the microservice architecture. So I divided this session into the three part. So microservice. Are you getting my screen, everyone? Hello.
Neeraj, it is coming slowly.
Okay. 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 So I will go slowly.
Actually, animation is there,
Mm,
so that's why.
so
Huh.
what? Okay. 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 No worries. I will take care of it. So first of all, means I divided this session into the three part. What is a microservice? What are the element of microservice? And when to use the microservice. So let me explain you the microservice. What is a microservice? So what is a microservice? So there are two things in the microservice. One is a micro and another is a service. So micro means small, and the service that I will explain you what is a service. Going to introduce about the microservice and the monolithic architecture. So let me start with the service first, so you will get a better picture. Hello, hello. Does anyone have any question? You can type it down into the chat box. I will have a look and answer your all the question. So what is a service? So the service is the piece of the software that provide a functionality to other piece of a software like desktop application, mobile application, database, and our shopping cart website is a one kind of piece of the software, and service will serve the functionality to those piece of the software. So let me explain you. So if someone customer comes into the desktop application and place an order through our using shopping cart website, then service will going to take care to perform all the operations that are required to fulfill that order. Service will, for example, going to perform the crude operation like create a order, read a order from the database, update an order from data, update an order in database, or delete a record from the database. So those kind of functionality will going to provide by the service, and the system that uses the service or multiple services in this fashion known as a service oriented architecture. So you hear that word service oriented architecture. So this kind of the system known as a service oriented architecture. So let me move to the definition of microservice architecture. So what it is. So James Lewis and the Martin Fowler from the ThoughtWorks has provided this definition. Microservice architecture style is an approach to develop a single application as a suite of small service, each running in its own process and communicating with a lightweighted mechanism. So few things are there in this definition. So it's a single application. You can see over here, it's a single application. So and has a suite of small services. So what does it mean? So it is a single application, but having the small multiple services. And each of the service, here they have write it down, each of the service is running on its own process. So what does it mean? That each of the services are running by their own and communicated with each other via lightweighted mechanism. So I will explain those communication mechanism later on. So now I'm moving to the next slide. So that another definition is a Sam Newman from ThoughtWorks. What he told about the microservices. Microservices are the small autonomous service that works together. So that means the microservice having the many small services and that works together and solve the purpose of the system. So this is the typical microservice architecture diagram. So in this diagram, you can see there are the multiple services. There is a no in the monolithic architecture, the diagram that we showed previously is in that we have the single service, but over here we have the multiple services. So microservice is nothing but service oriented architecture, but it's designed well and managed well. And microservice architecture will give you a guideline how we need to size this service, because we have the multiple service, so we need to decide how we can size this service. Whereas in the traditional service oriented architecture, what happens, we don't have any size limit for the services. Whatever we are going to write it down the code, we will going to write it down in the single service, so that single service will going to become large. So main part of the microservices are all of the services are in the micro size. So what benefit we are getting from that? So it can be easily scalable. Means if you want to scale that service, then it is really easy to scale those services. Then flexibility in the application, because you have the multiple services, so that if you want to introduce new service, then easy to introduce those kind of services in the system. So you will means create your application flexible. Then high performance. So why high performance? Because your service is only concentrating on the single part of the things in the system, so it will be highly performance. Then small service with a single focus. Does anyone know about the single responsibility principle? You can write it down, the Y or N, into the chat box. Does anyone have an idea of the single responsibility principle? So what does it mean? Single responsibility principle means that it will going to focus only one part of the things. So for example, my order service. So order service will going to take care of only order part, not other than the customer or inventory or any other part, product service. So order service will going to concentrate only order part. Then product service will going to concentrate only the product part of the system. So that's a single responsibility principle. It follows the single responsibility principle. Then, so what is the benefit of that? That, for example, increase development speed. So because you are concentrating on the only the single part of the system, it will increase the development speed. Okay. Then the lightweighted communication mechanism. So microservice architecture will use the lightweighted communication mechanism. So I will explain you later what does it mean, lightweighted communication mechanism, and what are the mechanism it uses to communicate with each other. Then technology agnostic. So what does it mean? Technology agnostic means it's not a fix that all your service must be in the single programming language. So you can write it down your one service in Java, another service in .NET, and another service in Ruby and Rails. Means any language you can write it down. Means whatever the language supports the microservice architecture, you can write it down your code in that language for each of the service, and it follows the API protocol to communicate. So, and one more main things of the microservices is that it has an independent data store. So as you know that whenever you are going to build any project or any kind of system, so you might have a single database for a whole system or whole software. But in the microservice architecture, for each of the service, you have a different database for each of the service. Independent changeable means as it's an independent, so you can easily change whatever you want to change in a service without affecting other service. So that's the benefit of it. Then independent deployable. So what does it mean? So if you want to deploy a single service like user service, then you don't need to deploy whole system to the production. So it's an independent deployable. And centralized tooling for management. So what does it mean? That as you are running multiple services, you need to monitor those services whether means those services are running properly or not. So you need a centralized tooling for management. I will explain you means what all centralized tool available in the market to managing those things. So now I'm going to give you the example of the typical microservice architecture. So first of all, e-commerce example, typical e-commerce example. So this is an easiest way to explain. So here you can see there are multiple microservices are there. First of all, user service microservice that will take care of only user things, means add, update, delete, managing user part of thing, and it has its own database. So the database persists only the record related to the user. Then we have the order service, so that will take care of only order part. of the system. So managing the order, canceling the order, refund, all the functionality that it will take care of by order service. Then product service, like it will going to take care of only the product part. We need to, if we need to add the product, delete the product, or update the product detail, update the product price, then that will take care of by product service, and it has its own database. Then in between we have the, you can see the API gateway. So I will explain you brief about the API gateway, what it is and how it's work in detail later on. So, and this is the monolithic architecture. So I will compare that monolithic architecture with the our microservice architecture. So as you can see, we have only the single services in monolithic architecture. So for example, we have a module in the monolithic architecture, but that module is under a single service like user module, order module, promotion module, inventory module, product module. So it is under the single service, and we have a single database to managing all those modules. So what will going to happen? So there is a no restriction on the size if you are going to follow the monolithic architecture. So whatever you want to add, you want to add, you will going to add it to your this single service. Also, another disadvantage is large code base. So you are going to write down your code into the single service. So your code will going to be a large, longer deployment time. So what does it mean? So if we want to deploy this service, so you need to deploy whole system you need to deploy the whole system, so that will going to take a longer time compared to the microservice architecture. So, and also few more disadvantages like fixed technology stack. So what does it mean? That you have to stick with the one technology only. So if you are going to write it down your code in .NET, then all the modules and all the service must be in the .NET. All the, if you are going to write it down code in the Java, then all the module and all the service must be in the Java. Okay, and it's hard to scale this system. What does it mean? So if we want to scale this service, means monolithic architecture, then you have to deploy the whole system in a new instance. So that those are the disadvantages of the monolithic architecture. So does anyone have any question? If you have any question in between, just write it down in the chat box so that I will check it out and I will give you the answer. So now I'm moving to the next part of the our microservice architecture session, that are the microservice elements. So how we are going to design a microservice and also design the team to manage and build those microservices. So mostly we are going to use domain driven design model. So what is domain driven design? Is in our example, e-commerce is our domain, and it consists of multiple subdomain. Subdomain is a kind of, you can say, module like user, order, product. Those are the subdomain. So to manage and build those microservice, what typical means what organization follows is they assign the team per subdomain. So for example, user microservice will going to handle by one team, order microservice will going to handle by another team, and product microservice will going to handle by another team. So what does it mean? That based on your microservice, so for example, user microservice doesn't require that much resource, so you can size your team according to your microservices. So what will be the benefit of that? So team is an independent, so you don't need to depend on the each other, so it will be the independent, and the each team is a responsible for the single microservice. So user will responsible for the only for the user microservice. So what happen, that they will going to take care of starting from writing down the code till the deployment. So they are responsible for whole user microservice. And by designing this way, we can easily follow the agile methodology or DevOps. Also, one more thing, that each of the microservice code is an independent. So user microservice have a different code and documentation, whereas order microservice has a different code and documentation. Whereas in the service oriented architecture or monolithic architecture, what happen? You are going to write it down your code into the one repository. Whereas in the microservice architecture, you have a different code for the different microservices. So now I'm going to explain about a data store. So what is a data store? So a database. How we are going to design a database in the microservice architecture? As I mentioned earlier, each of the microservice has their own database. Uh, so you and it's not necessary that all of the database in a single relational database. It can be a relational database. So for example, product microservice has a relational database, whereas order microservice has a NoSQL database. So it's not a fix that you must have a relational database for all of the microservice. So you can write it, means you can create your own database in own technology. So the another one is, for example, graph. So you can use the graph to managing user data, as it's a means user has doesn't have that much data. And how those synchronize with the each other. So they are synchronized with the each other with event sourcing. So I will explain you the event sourcing in detail in the means in upcoming slide.
Hello, Neeraj. Hello. એને mute કર્યું છે એનું.
Hello.
Hello.
Um, Hello.
हाँ.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Okay. I think something wrong with the microphone. Okay.
Actually, it
So
is showing.
the next element is a sorry. Yeah, I'm also wondering why it's showing mute. Yeah. So are you able to hear me? But am I right?
Yes, yes, yes. You can continue.
Yeah, yeah. So the next element is a communication. So how they are going to communicate with each other. So they can use the RPC. So it's work on the request and the reply method. So one service request to another service. Example, order service ask for the product to get the product. Okay. Or might be they can use message or event. So how it work? So they will use the broker as a service. They will going to send a message to the broker, and receiver will get the message and going to respond on that message. So typical, we can say it's a public subscriber pattern. So for example, if user is registered into the system, then user microservice will publish a message that, for example, Neeraj is registered in the system. So whoever is a subscriber of that message will going to get that message and perform the task whatever is required next based on the messages. So that's a public subscriber pattern. So by using this kind of mechanism, we can make our microservice loosely coupled and there are few provider for this one. Functionality is Kafka and RabbitMQ. You can use those things into the system. The another thing is API. So each microservice expose the API endpoint, which provide a way to communicate with each other. So for example, if order service wants some detail from the user, then it will going to call get user API, and user microservice will going to respond with the user detail. In the same way, if order microservice wants order detail, it will going to call get product API, and product microservice will going to respond with those details. So as you know, the security is most important part of the any system. So how microservice will manage the security, I will explain you. So it uses the API gateway. So as I mentioned you earlier, so we need to have an API gateway in front of our microservice so that client can communicate with those microservices by using API gateway. So what we can say is API gateway is going to be a single entry point for all of our client to communicate with our all the microservices. So API gateway is going to responsible for few things like authorization and the authentication. So it will authorize whether user have a proper permission to access the API, or if user have a proper authentication, means user have an access to the system, that will going to check by API gateway. So authentication and authorization, as I told you. Then microservice also need a monitor and the insights. What does it mean? That we need to monitor those services, as we having might be we having an issue in the user microservice or order microservice or product microservice. So we need a monitor tool to monitor those services. Then we must need a common login mechanism for all of the microservice. So by using those common mechanism, what we can do, we can have a single system that will give you all the detail related to the each client. So for example, if one user means one client is connected with the API gateway, so we can check it out what all the clients are connected with our microservice and what they requested. So for example, client one has requested something related to the user, so we can have that data into our system by using API gateway, that this particular client has an access this detail kind of thing. So we can build a common login mechanism in the API gateway, so that will be used, means that can be common for all the microservice. And also API gateway is a responsible to route a call to the microservice. So client will not going to call the user or order or product microservice. So what will going to happen? Client will just going to ask get user detail. if I'm going to log in into the system, then if I want to see my profile, then what happens? Client will going to just ask my profile detail. So API gateway will responsible to route that call to the user microservice. Similar way, if user wants a detail of order, then it will just call the API gateway, and API gateway will going to route that call to the order microservice. So another things related to the microservices like a scalability, monitoring, and the deployment. So it is easy to scale your microservice, as I mentioned previously. So how we can scale the microservice, and what does it mean scaling? Scaling means, for example, let me give an example like during Christmas time or the during Diwali time, you are getting a more order. So you need to scale order microservice, not an entire system, or you need to scale product microservice, not an entire system. So to solve those hundreds or thousands of the requests during those peak time, we can easily scale those microservice. So there are two way to scale the microservice. First is a vertical. So for example, in order microservice, what we can do, we can assign the more CPU or RAM so that it can serve thousands or millions of the uh, order. Or another way is horizontal scaling. So what does it mean? In product microservice, we can build more machines to the product microservice. So we can deploy more instances in a different machine so that it can be a scale horizontally and it can be serve thousands of millions of the request. Then another thing is, as I mentioned, we need a monitor tool to monitor those service, because success and the failure ratio, we must need to know which microservice is successful running on right now running successfully, and the which microservice is failed. So we need a common monitoring tool for this. And there are so many tools available in the market like Kibana, Grafana, or Spulk that we can use to monitor all those microservices. Then also each of the microservice must have a health check API. So what does it mean health check API means? So it will give you the information that I am available. So for example, if I'm going to call user microservice that are you available? So user microservice will going to get a response that I am available. So we need a health check API for the each of the microservices. Exception handling. So what does it mean exception handling means? So user must means we need to provide a common mechanism to handle the exception for all of the microservices. So there are so many tools available in the market for, to provide this kind of functionality. Like we can use the Serilog for the exception handling, and the last, that independent deployable means, as I mentioned earlier, each of the microservice are running independently. So if something happens to the user microservice, then we can only deploy that user microservice, or we can independently. For example, another example is like if we have some update on the order microservice, so we will going to means update the code in order microservice and going to deploy that order microservice independently. So it can be independently deployable. So the last part of the this session is like, are microservices right for your project? So as previously we discussed about the comparing the microservice with monolithic architecture and what are the element. Now it's time to decide whether the microservice is right for your project or not. And so what we will going to check it out, we will going to check challenges, and we are going to ask a question to ourselves, few questions, so that can means decide whether we should go with a microservice or not. So the in today's means world, we have challenges like business is more and more complex. So as you know that nowadays you need to integrate third party things like for login, we need to integrate Facebook login, Google login, kind of thing. Or for the notification, we need to use the third party library to notify our customer regularly and any promotions or those kind of functionality we need. So those are the challenges right now in the business. Also, all our system must be highly available, scalable, and the secure. What does it mean? That it must be available 24 by 7. And comparing with this, all the functionality, we need also, it means our system must also reduce the cost. So maintenance costs shouldn't be there. We need to reduce those kind of costs, because if you are going with the monolithic architecture, then might be your maintenance cost will be high, but in microservice architecture it will be reduced. So if you want to implement microservice architecture, you need to ask few questions to yourself. For example, whether your organization is able to adopt agile or DevOps methodology, whether your current system have a modularity and a replaceability. What does it mean? That whether your current system have a different kind of module, like order module, customer module, then product module kind of thing, and whether those are, means we can, if are we able to easily replace those module with the microservice. Also we need to point, means listed down all the pain points currently in the our system. And one more thing, we need to decide the measure of success. So measure of success means how we can decide that by implementing a microservice, we will getting the success. So we need to decide a measure of the success. So now we will going to discuss about some pros and cons, advantages and disadvantages of the microservice. I divided those microservice advantages and disadvantages in a two-way: business concern, and another one is a technical concern. So I will start with the business concern. What are the concerns, and means how we can decide whether it is give us a benefit or it has some disadvantages. So first of all, is a small team easier to manage. So as I mentioned you, each of the microservice have its own team. So it is easy to manage those team and easy to estimate. So what does it mean? That we can easily estimate, because if I'm going to concentrate only on the user module or user microservice, then I can give a easy estimation on that service, or rather than going to estimate whole entire system. Because if you are going to estimate whole system, then might be you might be miss few points. So it will going to give you easy estimation. Then easy to implement agile and DevOps. As the team size is a small, so it's a easy to implement that agile and DevOps methodology. People will be motivated. So why people will be motivated? Because currently in the market, everyone everywhere, means everyone talks about the microservice. So everyone wants to work in the microservice architect. So people will be motivated to work if you are going to go with the microservice architecture. Few more disadvantages are like lots of technology, language, and database. So as I mentioned, that each you can build each of the microservice in a different language, different technology, and you can use different data store. So it might be hard to manage those things, but what organization follows is they will decide their standard. So for example, they will decide that I'm going to build a microservice in .NET technology. So those all the microservices they are going to build will be in the .NET technology. Then another disadvantage is as integration from other team is a difficult. So as as I mentioned that you can write it down your each microservice in different language. So for example, you write it down your one microservice in Java, another microservice in the .NET. So it will be hard to move one developer from the Java team to the .NET team, and it will be hard for move a .NET developer to a Java team. Yes, so those are the few disadvantages. Uh, Again, few advantages like start small, start. because you are going to start with the only one microservices at a time. So it will be going to cheap to you and cost wise also, because you don't need much resources to develop those independent microservice, and grow up when you need it. So whenever you required, you will going to build another microservice. It's not that we are going to straight away build all of the microservice. So but whenever it's required, you will going to build a new microservice. Cheap deployment on the cloud. So you are going to deploy those microservice on a cloud. As your microservice is small, so it cost wise it will not that much high. And one more business advantages are invest more when business is running. So you can start your microservice, a few microservice, and start your business. And in future, if we want to add more feature like notification, so you can build entire new notification microservice independently. So whenever it's required, you can build those microservices. So there are few more technical concern as well. For the microservice is like how we can partition the system. So that's a basic thing, that how we can size those microservice. So you can means use the business domain expert to size your microservice. Means similar things needs to be together, like order, then a product, then customer, then user should be must needs to be together. Then appropriate programming language, which gives you the best performance. Adopt the right database, which gives you the best performance as well. And pick up the right tool for the right job. As I mentioned, that you need to pick up the right programming language, which gives you the best means performance, as well as right database, which suits your microservices. One more thing, that security is difficult for each of the microservice, as each microservice needs to check the access token. So in the microservice architecture, because if you are going to implement the monolithic architecture, you might have a single layer of the security that will secure your whole system. Whereas in the microservice architecture, as each microservice are the independent, you need a security layer for each of the microservice. Then less code to test. As you are writing down the less code, so it will be the less testing, but the complex integration testing. Why? Because, for example, customer will going to place the order. Then what we are going to do, we are going to validate first of all customer, then we are going to place the order, then we are going to take up payment. So we need to integrate all of the microservice, because here we will have a three microservice: customer, order, and the payment. So we need to integrate, means we need to do the testing by integrating all of those microservice. So this is also one of the kind of disadvantages, but there are so many tools and the technology available, so we can do the easily integration testing as well. So another thing is less code to maintain and understand, because the code will be the less. So if you hire a new developer, so it will be easy for him or her that to understand those code, and easy to extend new feature, a new microservice. So what does it mean? That if you are going to implement a new feature like notification, then a new microservice means new feature, new microservice. So if you're going to implement a notification, then you can implement a new microservice for that notification only. uh, yes, so that's it for the session. So I got one question from the Manvi Raj, that microservice can use the agile model. Yes, definitely. It's a best suit for the agile methodology, because you have a small team and it can be easy to maintain those team by using agile methodology. And most of the organization are using the agile methodology to managing and delivering those microservices. So currently where I am working, we have the, I think, 4 or 5 teams, and each of the team is working on the different means different microservice, and we follow the agile model over there. So yeah, it's a best suit for the microservice. So it's time to question and answer. So if anyone have any question, you can type it down on chat. I am happy to give an answer. And if I'm not able to give an answer, but then I will definitely get touch with you to provide you the best answer of your question. And also, if you would like to connect with me, you can use the LinkedIn, as well as you can visit my website where I can provide means I have all the social media link, so you can easily connect with me from there. Yeah. Yes. So mostly all of the popular means right. Previously, all of the company uses the monolithic architecture, but nowadays all of the companies are moving to the microservices as it's an easy to manage. So I will show you the typically Netflix how Netflix managing those microservice services and give you the diagram of the microservices of the Netflix. So as you can see, there are the so I just for the example and so for the better understanding, I'm just using the 3 to 4 microservice, but uh, Netflix are have around more than 100 to 200 microservices. You can see the diagrams of those microservices. Yes, so that's the thing, and also the Amazon, Flipkart, most of them are using the microservice architecture because it's now right now it's in demanding. Yes. Yeah, thanks, Vizina.
Okay,
Yes,
Neeraj, one more.
so another question from Avani. Uh, means she is asking that Python language. She is working on the Python language. So how to use the microservice? So it's not a language dependent. So based on your requirement, so you need to divide your whole entire code into the different module. So for example, if you have a website running on the Python code, and in that website you have a different module like customer, order, payment, then you can divide your code in a way that can be a designer microservice. So you need to take it out all the code related to the customer into the separate microservice. Then you need to take it out all the code related to the order microservice, and you need to provide the endpoint. So what endpoint is, for example, get customer detail. So whenever the order service required any customer detail, so it will going to call your customer means it will going to call your customer microservice that get customer detail. So it customer microservice will going to give you a answer of that request. Yes. Oh, anyone else?
Okay. Okay, anyone has question?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Neeraj. Thank you very much for sharing your deep knowledge of this
Okay.
software design pattern. You present it very well in briefly. Now I would like to over Miss Jhankhana Bhatt Madam to present the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Danu Madam. Our respected Honorable Secretary Madam Srimati Josnaben Patel, respected our Director Dr. Chaya Patel, invited speaker and our alumni Mr. Neeraj Trivedi, and all my dear participants. It's a great honor to propose a vote of thanks on behalf of Anand Institute of Information Science to all who have helped us in make this webinar such a resounding success. First of all, I would like to thank to our Secretary Srimati Josnaben Patel for motivating and organizing these kind of events. I would like to express our profound gratitude to our Director Dr. Chaya Patel for her support and guidance. I also like to thank your speaker and our alumni, Mr. Neeraj Trivedi, for making excellent presentation and making this webinar interesting and meaningful. I would like to thank the students and participants who have turned up in such great numbers, not only from our department, but also from other departments of the college. Thank you so much for your cooperation. Finally, I would like to thank our staff members who have made this webinar a great success. Once again, I thank you all for your cordial cooperation. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shankna madam. Uh,
Tanvi madam, there is one question in chat
yes,
box.
I see. Okay, I'm passing to the Neeraj. Okay, Neeraj, one more question is there from Paritosh Gawali. What Django does through apps can be called a microservice?
I need to check it out that one. What does it mean, DGeno? First of all, just give me 1 minute.
Okay. Okay, all
I
participants,
never worked on the DGeno.
please do your camera on. All the participants.
Uh, so I just checked it out the DGeno. So it's I think Python based framework, and it follow the model template view architecture. So it's a kind of the MVC. So what does it mean that you can have a separate microservice that follow the MVC design pattern? So it can be called, but that entire framework can't be called the microservice. But the by using that model template view, we can build a microservice, but not that entire degen. We can call it some microservices. Uh,
Okay,
got
thank
my answer, Paritosh?
Okay,
Okay.
Paritosh. Okay, thank you,
Audio.
Neeraj. Okay, I request all participants, please do your camera on so I can take a picture.
I think everyone is busy. That's fine.
It's okay.
As they show that thank you slide, so might be they leave the meeting. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank
Okay.
you all the participants and thank you, Neeraj. Thank you very much. And here we mark the end of this webinar. Thank you all.
Thank you. See ya.
Thank you, Neeraj.